Okay, so welcome everyone. I hope we're recording. If not, then this is special just for you guys. Let me get full screen here. So this is the Spoil Your Dog with Essential Oils, which is really not spoiling them, it's just taking care of them. So, but thanks for coming, appreciate it. And that's me. I'm a naturopathic practitioner. Love dogs, love essential oils, love everything on the wellness spectrum, and always so curious about all of the different holistic options that are available for us. And what we're going to be talking about tonight is specifically how essential oils can help our furry friends. So that is me and my dog. That is not an uncommon posture for us on the couch. But anyways, you both know me. I'm owner of Infinite Health and Wellness. I'm located in Norwell, and lifelong dog lover, no doubt about that. I love my dogs. This is the only one we have right now, but have many dogs over the years and have used essential oils to help them out with their problems, just because it's safe. And I'm going to be talking about all of that stuff. So just a general overview about what essential oils are. They come from plants. Sometimes it's the seeds, the stems, the roots, the flowers, the bark, what have you. But sometimes it's all of those, depending on the plant. But it is natural and comes from a lot of times from flowers, from plants, and been used throughout history. Think back to even it predates biblical times. But most are familiar with the the story of the manger and the magi and the gifts on Christmas. So that's how old it is. It is a holistic approach. So it's basically looking at the whole problem, not just one piece of it. And it's definitely gaining in popularity as our most natural methods, because people are doing research. We have access to so much more information now. And there's results. So that's it's kind of a grassroots word of mouth type thing, especially essential oils, because once somebody tries it and they have a benefit from it, they share it with everyone. The reason I wanted to do this particular presentation, I've been thinking about it for a long time, is because, as it says here, pet care is expensive. And right now there's more and more people that are bringing dogs into their homes because of the pandemic. And so I just wanted to make sure that people had a viable option that's inexpensive and healthy, to make sure that they're doing, if you have a dog, you probably love it like a family member. And so it's just another opportunity to take care of them in a way that is easy and good for the animals. And it's good for the family. Like a lot of the things we're going to be talking about tonight, your family can use. So it's pretty adaptable for everybody. Oh, what's going on here? There we go. Healthier lifestyle. So nature is perfect. It always knows what to do. It supports us in so many ways. We've kind of gotten away from it for a very long time in this country, probably about 200 years. But like I said, it seems to be coming around again. And the nice thing about it is there's very rarely any symptoms associated with anything that is a natural resource, and essential oils definitely fits that bill. These pictures are really very, very interesting, I think, because the top one is peppermint. And to the right of that peppermint leaf is what the oil actually looks like. That's the oil sac. Same thing for the next one down. That's lavender with the oil sac. So that's what's collected to make essential oils. They're safe. There's no side effects. They boost immunity. Many of them, if not almost all of them, are anti-inflammatory. They don't build up in the system. So they're not like drugs, no side effects like drugs. And they support healthy immune function and metabolism. So there's so many benefits to them, and there's really very little downfall, if any. I mean, you hardly ever hear about it. I do think the one thing where there's like a misconception of essential oils is people think they're just like a nice to have and not a need to have. They look at it as like, like smelling them is nice, aromatherapy, but they are therapeutic in nature, and that's what makes them so valuable. So that even though it's nice to smell things, it's also nice to be able to smell something and have a health boost from it. And that can be for, you know, humans and pets alike. So this is just a graphic of what it looks like when essential oils are introduced into the body. So that's a cell, and the best example I can use for this compared to traditional medicine is that if you take an antibiotic, it's typically to kill off bacteria, and that's on the outer cell. It's like that floats in between the cells. But essential oils can deal with the in between the cells as well as penetrate the cell membrane. So that means it can also attack viruses. So it's very beneficial for us, and especially now. I mean, virus, that's the talk of the day. It's what we're all talking about every day, all day, with what's going on. So it's just good to know that we can do something for ourselves, for our pets, and just improve overall immunity and keep us safe and healthy. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to use essential oils. There's 3 main ways. Topically, so you can put it on right on. With dogs, their sense of smell, I meant to look this up and didn't, but I can tell you that their sense of smell is hundreds of times stronger than a human's. So you don't need a whole lot of oils when you're dealing with administering them to dogs. You can dilute them. It's recommended to dilute them because of their sense of smell, and you can put them on just about anywhere. Just kind of stay away from their nose and their eyes, obviously. But depending on what's going on with them, you can definitely put it on. Diluting them, we'll talk a little bit more about that, how you would do that in a coming slide. Aromatically, you can just get a diffuser and diffuse them into the air. That's always nice, and the dog will benefit from that, as will his people. And then internally, you can put 2 to 3 drops in an empty capsule and give as needed. So many oils are ingestible. There are some that aren't, and it typically will say on a good oil brand, they will tell you right on the bottom whether or not it is digestible. And the size of the pet matters. So if it's a smaller animal, you might want to use a lower amount, maybe like a half a drop, and just test it out, see how they do with it. My dog's pretty big. He's 90-ish pounds. And what I've been giving him for a while now is 2 drops of frankincense in a capsule every other day, because he's got a mass on his leg, and we're trying to address that. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more too. So the do's and don'ts of essential oils when it comes to dogs. There are some oils that you want to avoid because they're considered hot. And what that means is they're very warming oils. So you just want to be careful because you don't want to burn them. It's unlikely that that's going to happen where they have a fur coat, but it could make them uncomfortable, and it's just not really worth the risk. So some of them I've listed here. Cassia and cinnamon are in the same family. Cassia is from the cinnamon family. Clove, tea tree, oregano, and thyme. Now that doesn't mean you can never use these oils. It just means that you got to be really careful with them. You wouldn't want to like put them in their mouth, because it's just going to be too caustic, too hot, and they're not going to like it. They're very, very strong oils, but they have therapeutic properties, and some of the oils that we're going to look at actually have a combination of a couple of these things. So I did want to address that up front so that you didn't think that they were to never be used. It's just you don't want to use them straight out of the bottle. We're talking about 7 main oils for the pet health tonight. You can use way more than this, but obviously to keep within our time limit, I wanted to make sure that I address some of the top ones. So I'm going to talk about 5 single oils. That means the oil is specifically, that is what it's derived from: frankincense, COPAIBA, geranium, lavender, and rosemary. And then there's blends, 3 blends that I picked that are really helpful for dogs. And they have multiple oils in them, and I did put that on the slide so you can kind of see what comprises a blend. So how do these oils benefit our little friends? We're going to start with frankincense. It's considered the king of oils, which is why it has that cute little crown in the corner. This applies to everyone. When in doubt, use frankincense if you have it. it's the #1 go-to. You don't even have to look anything up. You could just grab it and use it for whatever, because that's how many different things that it's going to take care of. It's just that versatile, and it's well known. It's been around for a very long time, like thousands of years. It's good for anxiety. So if you've got a pet that's a little anxious, and I think a lot of dogs are kind of freaked out right now because they had their people home nonstop, and the kids are home when they're not usually home. There's just a lot going on. Frankincense is it's anti-inflammatory, it's immune boosting, and it's good for the nervous system, digestive system. You can use it internally, externally. You can use it any of the 3 ways. It's got a very earthy aroma to it. And my dog doesn't seem to mind it. I diffuse it, often mixed with something else, but it doesn't seem to bother him. And you'll know if a dog just kind of up and leaves a room, it means it's probably something that they're not really liking the smell of. So that's kind of a way to test it out. I'm not really talking about cats tonight, but the thing with cats is you just want to make sure there's plenty of room that they can leave, because the way that they metabolize the scent of essential oils isn't the same as humans and dogs. So it's just good if they can have an escape route if they need it. This oil is great for skin rashes, any type of bites. It's great for tumors. There's studies on PubMed that talk about how it's been used in cancer. It actually destroys cancer cells, and good for growths like warts and fatty lipomas. COPAIBA is a really great oil. It's got a spicy, musky, earthy scent to it. And you can see it. It supports so many different systems: the nervous system, our hearts, the immunity, digestive, respiratory, musculoskeletal. Very helpful for any type of joint pain. So if you've got dogs that are getting older, like my dog, you can ease some of that discomfort that they have by mixing some up. And I have another slide that's going to talk about how you would do that. It's very calming for the nervous system. It's actually been compared to CBD oil, and has more of a calming effect than CBD oil. And it's a lot cheaper than CBD oil. A bottle of COPAIBA is, I think, about $28. And if you use it the way that it's intended, it can last like 6 months to a year. You don't use a lot of this stuff. So it's a great one to have on hand. Eases feelings of tension, promotes well-being, and it works really nicely with frankincense. And at any time, you can certainly mix any of these oils however you like. It doesn't have to be any rhyme or reason to it. If you like the way the 2 of them smell together, or you've read something that you like the properties of both, feel free to blend them together. You can create your own blends. Geranium oil I really like. Now, my vet actually uses geranium oil in her office. She sprays down the stainless steel counters with it, that the dogs are up on for examination, because that's how antiseptic it can be. It's great for getting rid of insects. You'll notice that a lot of the mosquito places that, I think mosquito squads and whatnot that go around spray people's yards, they're now using geranium and peppermint essential oils to, it not only kills mosquitoes and insects that are unwanted pests, it repels them. So that's a good one. You can spray this on your dog if you're going on a hike in the woods. It smells amazing. And it will keep the bugs from, latching onto them. They don't really like it. It's great for reducing their stress levels, good for skin irritations, hot spots, which I have a little slide on that coming up too, and anti-inflammatory. And most oils are anti-inflammatory, which is great, because today's health issues, the majority of them are derived from inflammation. Lavender, I know everybody's familiar with. So many benefits to lavender. It's a kind of a staple in the house for most people. One thing I haven't mentioned yet, but I will, is that you really want to make sure that you buy and purchase your oils from a company that is reputable for purity. There are 2 major companies in the United States that sell oils. One is doTERRA, which is what I use. It just happens to be the one I was introduced to first, and I really love their oils. and the other one is Young Living. I know a lot of people that promote that and really like that. There's others, so you would have to do some homework on it, but if you decide to buy from either of these two companies, I think you can feel very safe with purchasing it and not having to do any due diligence on it. They just have the reputation for purity. Because the last thing we want to do is add to the toxic load of our pets or ourselves. So back to lavender, it's great for muscle tension. It's good for hot spots. It's a great skin reliever of any type of skin condition, rashes, itching, irritation, and it helps skin recover really quickly. Good for motion sickness. So if you've got an animal that doesn't like to get in the car or gets sick in the car, it might be something that you could kind of spray them down a little bit before getting in the car, or there's diffusers for the car. You could certainly be diffusing the oil in the car while you're driving wherever you're going to. And then add some to the dog shampoo. If you've got a dog that's a little on the stinky side, which I do, so it's just another way to kind of clean them up and do it in a way that's healthy for them. Rosemary is another one, anti-inflammatory. This one is, you want to use it sparingly at first just to test it out on your dog to make sure that they don't get overstimulated. It just has that quality to it. It's unlikely that will happen, but every animal is different, just like every person is different. This one is highly recommended to dilute it so that you just, err on the side of caution. It's good for stomach issues. It's also good for, if your dog is gassy, sometimes that happens with dogs with certain things that they eat and indigestion. You could give them like a drop or two in a capsule, and then just fill the rest of the capsule with a carrier oil, like avocado or olive oil is usually what most people have on hand. It gets rid of repels all these nasty bugs that we've been talking about, fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and high in antioxidants. So neutralizing free radicals, which is really good for our cells because we want to make sure that they reproduce at the highest, most beneficial strength that they can. And now we're going to go on to the blends. So I mentioned we have 3 blends that I'll be talking about tonight. There's certainly a lot more than that, but these 3 have really been used and tested in pet health. Adaptive, I love this oil. I love it for myself. I will say I haven't used it as much with my dog because he's not super anxious, but you can see in the first bullet point what it consists of. It's got wild orange, lavender, COPAIBA, spearmint, magnolia, rosemary, neroli, and sweet gum. So that's what makes up this particular blend. It smells a little bit like lavender, but it's different than that. It's nice. And what's good about this particular thing is it helps the animal adapt to their surroundings. So that's a nice one for right now, where so many pets are having to adapt to the fact that people are coming and going a lot more than they were. Animals typically sleep a lot, especially dogs. They're known to sleep like anywhere from 10 to 16 hours a day, and they're not getting that kind of rest anymore because there's just too much activity in the house, and because they want to be part of it, they're not really resting. They're actually turning into humans the way that we don't rest without even realizing it. They're picking up our bad habits. So if you've got an animal that's kind of restless and kind of walking around seeming a little anxious, this would be a great one. It's good if on the human side of it, if you've got stuff that you need to be doing where you need focus, this is nice because it's calming, but it's also uplifting. It has GABA in it, which isn't on here, but that is it's a mood booster for the neurotransmitters. So it's good for anxiety. That's what GABA does. It's a feel-good, if you take it in supplement form, it's a feel-good supplement. And so you can use it any of the 3 ways. And the nice thing about this particular product is it comes in the capsules already, so you can just throw it in your dog's food. I don't know about your dog, but my dog will eat anything, so he wouldn't even know if I threw that in there. It'd just be gone with everything else. On Guard is a really critical oil to have too. And if you're affiliated or associated with the Young Living brand, they call it thieves. And they're essentially the same thing. This is a blend that was created in the 1800s during bubonic plague, where there were robbers going into people's homes and stealing stuff, but not catching the plague because they had created this blend. They knew about herbs and perfumes because that was their trade. So this actually protected those particular people from the death penalty because the judge waived it if they would share what was going on so that they could help more people. And so essentially this was a turning point for that particular pandemic. It's really great for immunity, good for oral health. So I do have a slide on teeth and whatnot for dogs, and we'll get to that, but you can use it for that. Parasites, dogs are known for getting parasites because what do they do when you take them on walks? They're sniffing, licking, eating poop and other dogs' pee. So that means they're ingesting whatever that dog had. And I can tell you from experience, my dog has had roundworm 3 different times from that behavior. And this is one of the things that we use to kind of combat it. In addition, you'd probably want like a good heartworm pill, which also helps. But sometimes even just drinking, one time we took the dog on a hike and he got it from drinking pond water because there's all manner of stuff floating around in there and it looked really clean, but you know, he was sick within 2 days from them. And they really can be quite dangerous if you don't get rid of them. So this might be another thing to just add to your tool chest. It's great for bug bites. You can put it on there. It's very soothing for that. And it's antiseptic. You can clean, like, and if your dog has a specific area that's cleanable, you can clean that. You can spray it on their dog bed a little bit, freshen it up. I use it on my countertops. That means, you know, that way I can just put anything on the counter. I could like drop a piece of fruit on it and pick it up and eat it. You can't really do that with something like Method, even though that's a much better brand for environmental cleaning. You can't ingest it, where this stuff, it's no big deal if you use it. So it's great for humans and animals. Serenity's a nice one too. So this one is much more calming in nature. It's got lavender in it again, as well as a bunch of other calming flower essential oils, the essences of the flowers. And it's very similar to lavender. And it's just relieves anxiety, calms things down. It's a really nice one to blend in the evening to settle the house down, and really good during fireworks. So if your dog is prone to be freaked out during fireworks, which a lot of them are, you can use this. You can combine it with lavender. You can do one or the other or both, and just see what works best for your pet. And I have a couple of specific conditions related to dogs that we'll look at too. Joint pain is a big one. I kind of alluded to that a little bit earlier. Essential oils, according to Dr. Shelton, are used a lot in veterinary practices because they really don't want to be using the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs because of the side effects. They're really rough on the animals, especially their liver and kidney function. So oils that you can use for joint pain are eucalyptus, frankincense, lavender, lemongrass, and ginger. Those are all oils that are, you know, anti-inflammatory, and that joint pain is inflammation of the joints. So you can make it by, you know, having a 16-ounce spray bottle, fill it with, you know, like clean water. It's distilled is recommended, but if you want to use spring, that's fine too. And then just add 12 to 15 drops of either COPAIBA or any of the others that were mentioned. COPAIBA is really great for joint pain. And because of its, you know, calming, soothing effect on the nerves, it kind of helps multiple spheres like mental, emotional, and physical. So as many of these oils do, and probably all of them. Okay, a couple more here. Fleas, that can be a nasty one. I think anyone who's had a pet's probably experienced this at one point or another. So those are the main oils are rosemary, peppermint, and eucalyptus, as well as cedarwood. And you can combine them 4 to 6 drops each in a 16-ounce bottle. and then 2 drops of the cedarwood. And the reason less of the cedarwood is it's a pretty strong oil, and it drips more like a resin, so it's going to have a little bit more staying power than some of the lighter oils. It's just each oil is really unique in the way that it works. Some of them are what they call top notes, and some of them are bottom notes, meaning they're a little bit heavier. Just always avoid spraying in the face and the eyes, especially near the nose, because the sensitivity of their noses and their ability to smell things. And I know this from experience, because my dog will literally like drag me half a block down the street on the opposite side because he senses something. I'm like, how does he do that? You can use it straight on with the oil. It's a little messier. They call that neat, where you just pour it from the bottle into your hand. You can do that if you want. I think it's a lot of work. I'd be more inclined to put it in like a roller bottle and add some, what do you call it, carrier oil. And the carrier oils can be something you have in your house, like I said already, avocado or olive oil. A big one that's used in the essential oils, you know, people that use essential oils, is fractionated coconut oil. And that's just basically a coconut oil that doesn't harden when it gets cold out. And what's nice about that is it preserves for a really long time. So let's see, we've got hot spots. I mentioned that. That can be really hard to get rid of, because you can't stop the dog from licking it because they're trying to soothe themselves. And then if you put the cone of shame on them, that just is, you know, nobody wants to do that. It's just miserable. So these are the oils that you can use for that. You can use them in combination or independently: lavender, Roman chamomile, myrrh, peppermint. Peppermint's very cooling. It's a very cooling oil, and it's relatively inexpensive. Myrrh is a kind of what you would call an investment oil. It's a lot more money, but it lasts a long time. It's resiny as well. It you know, doesn't pour out of the bottle. It's a slow drip. So these are just a couple of things. And lavender, like I said, that's a staple in most homes. So if you have any of those, you can just put it on, spray it on, like we've been talking about, and just continue to spray it until it's when the dog starts getting relief, they're going to stop licking. So that will give them an opportunity to heal. And then even if they do lick it, it's not a big deal. It's not going to make them sick because it's natural. And they may not be inclined to lick it because they don't like the taste of it. I mean, lavender is a beautiful oil, but it doesn't taste great. Peppermint, not so bad. We're used to it. We've had that. We've all had it. So yeah, that's the dealio with hot spots. Tooth and gum problems obviously can be not only uncomfortable for a dog, but it's super expensive. So if you start noticing that your dog's getting like a tartar buildup or whatever, you can even put a little bit of On Guard essential oil. That's the blend that I mentioned before. You can put it on a toothbrush and gently brush their gums. You can put it on your finger and rub it on their gums. It's really soothing. This particular product line has a number of different things in it. And one of them that they are selling now is a mouthwash. And I can tell you that in using that consistently for the past 6 months, my dental appointment was like 1,000 times better than it's ever been. And the only thing I did different was that. So it's pretty strong as far as keeping, gums and teeth healthy. So a good one to have on hand for people and for pets. So taking the next step. If you're interested in adding essential oils into your pet care, and you have more questions, you're welcome to contact me. I'm happy to talk to you at any time. I love when people call me and ask me questions. It's what I live for, and especially now with COVID, because things have slowed down a little. So I've got plenty of time if somebody has questions that they want to ask specifically. You can certainly create an essential oils account, and I'm going to be sending this information out through the newsletter with a recap so that you'll have some of this to review as well as the recording of this. So if you want to order oils, they're relatively inexpensive as far as healthcare goes, and because you can use it for yourself and your pets, you're really it's a win-win for everybody. What I like about doTERRA is that they set it up so that you can buy it whole retail and just pay the full price if you want, and you don't want to be dealing with having an account with them. or you can set up an account that's very much like BJ's and Costco, where you pay a fee. The first year it's $35, and subsequent years it goes down to $25. And you get a free peppermint in the from the second year onward. The other nice thing I like about it is they don't automatically charge you. So you're not going to wake up a year from now and look at your bank account, even though you haven't ordered an oil for like, 9 months, and see like, oh, shoot, there's that $25. They don't do that. They will charge you when you reorder once your account expires. So that's a nice thing too. And it's very much like BJ's, because they're not going to just recharge you either. They're going to wait until you go in and you need something. So very similar. And then if you want something for yourself, I am putting together small groups of 4 people to make sure that everybody's specific concerns are addressed. It's a health coaching program. And it's just 3 months. It's twice a month. So if that's something that interests you, I will be sending out information about that in a future newsletter, and you can kind of noodle it and see if it makes sense for you. It's kind of nice sometimes to have a little something before the holidays to keep you on track and have some accountability, because, and especially these days, the holidays are even, I think we're more likely to overeat because we've got so much stress going on with all these restrictions and whatnot. So if that interests you, you're welcome to either ask me about it, or you can sign up whenever, when I send the info out if you're interested. So let me see if I can get back to Zoom. That would be pretty awesome. Had a little bit of issues before. Where are my people? Sorry, I missed admitting somebody during the presentation because I didn't see it. So I will definitely make sure that person has the recording. There we go. How do we get to full screen? Anyways, anywho, so that's pretty much essential oils in a nutshell for pets. And if you, let's see if I can stop this video. There we go. No. I'm sorry, guys. I'm like technologically challenged tonight for some strange odd reason. Is that it? Anyways, if anybody's still with me and you have anything you want to talk about or chat about, feel free to chime in. Otherwise, we're probably just going to wrap up because we're getting to the end of our time together. So thank you for coming. And I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that you'll experiment with essential oils in your pets. And if you have questions about it, feel free to call me or shoot me a Facebook Messenger or whatever works for you. I don't know what the dealio is with the system tonight. It's really crazy.